Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show. Paul joined by Robert Ziggy Ziegler. So close, Ziggy. So close to having the Packers fall to 3-3, a day where the Vikings went to 5-0. It would have been nice to create a little separation. I'm not too worried about the Bears, even though they're 3-2, but Green Bay sitting at 3-2 as well. If they had been 2-3, I'd like to create as much separation as possible for when they finally start to come on. And in that fourth quarter there, the Rams only won the quarter 6-0, but it had a lot of anxiety, I'm sure, for Packers fans as they're watching down the stretch. But the Packers get a big stop to end it and win 24-19. A day, with some big ups and big downs. Jordan Love had one of the worst plays I've seen from him in his career today on that. I don't know how he didn't go down on that near safety that turned into a pick six. But it's a kind of amazing job to stay up. But then I don't know.
Would have been better if he did take the safety.
It would have. But again, he also had some really big time throws. But the Packers get the win here, 24-19. What was your big takeaways from the Green Bay victory?
My biggest takeaway was, boy, howdy, did this team miss Romeo Doubs.
There's the boy howdy.
I mean, look, the offense this game, Josh Jacobs was solid on the ground, but there were two big pass plays, that huge Tucker Kraft touchdown and a deep shot to Jaden Reed.
Yep.
Otherwise, the offense went nowhere fast, right? They were 1 for 8 on third down. They weren't able to consistently get a pass game going. Again, they had a couple big plays, but otherwise it just wasn't there. They punted 5 times. There were a few times when guys were dropping balls or when they weren't getting things going that I couldn't help but think if Romeo Doubs were out there playing his best, this would be a time when he could shine and really be the difference maker. And the Packers won, and I think they should be grateful that they won. But this game was mostly the defense. Again, a couple nice deep passes. Tucker Kraft, MVP of the game for sure.
Yeah.
But things are going to have to get better on the offensive end fast.
Yeah, and for Packers fans, a big win here. Without Romeo Doubs, without Christian Watson, we're not seeing the full form of what Green Bay will be at the end of the year. And by the way, we didn't see that for the Rams either, with Puka out and Cooper Kupp. I mean, some dynamic offensive playmakers were out. But if you're a Packer fan, to have Tucker Kraft have the kind of game he did, I feel like he slowly has been introduced this year. To see him have a big game and get back on the box score was nice. So they can attack you in so many different ways, and the offense needs to get going. I think Jordan Love is still finding his feet, and of course he will be. He's coming off an injury, nearly a very bad injury. But Xavier McKinney, how about the defense? We were talking about the defense a second ago. 5 straight games now. Every game he's had an interception here, and maybe my nightmare. Remember, I had that nightmare of Xavier McKinney having interceptions against the Eagles and winning Defensive Player of the Year. Maybe that's coming true. I don't know. It feels like the nightmare actually is becoming a reality.
Yeah, he's closing in on the single-season consecutive game interception record. Trayvon Diggs tied that at 6 a few years ago. The total record for most interceptions consecutively in games is 8. Tom Morrow did it a number of years ago. That single-season interception record also tied by Brian Russell, the Minnesota Vikings back in 2003. So Xavier McKinney has a chance to stick it to us once again by taking that away. But no, the defense really did their job this game. The second half, or the last quarter rather, there were a lot of moments where I was thinking the defense isn't going to get it done. The Rams are going to get there. But on that last drive, the defense really stepped up, sacking Matthew Stafford when you absolutely needed a big play, stopping the Rams from moving it down the field, and holding the Rams scoreless in 2 quarters. I get that Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are out, but it's still Sean McVay. It's still Matthew Stafford. It's still Kyren Williams. They did a lot right this game, and I think the defense deserves some credit for that. We've seen now, if the offense is good enough to get a lead and you force the other team to be passing, the Packers defense can really get aggressive and really get a lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks.
Yeah, and even though there was no Puka, no Cooper Kupp, this is still a really good win against any Matthew Stafford-led team. Is just tough to beat. I mean, this Rams team, they just beat the 49ers recently, and we'll see. We don't really know what the 49ers are at this point in time, which is kind of weird in the NFC, where the Eagles and Cowboys are struggling, the 49ers are struggling, and just to get this win here, any win is hard to get. That's what we say on the show a few times. Winning is hard. So for Green Bay to be able to find a way in a game where, Love did have his struggles, but it was really impressive. And at the end there, I felt like the Rams were going to score. They just every now and then they would go on these drives and you're like, okay, this one's probably going to end up in points here. And that's sort of the vibe I was getting on that ultimately game-winning stop for the Packers, to be able to come away with, huge fourth down stop to go to 3-2. Yeah, I mean, this NFC is wide open. It's crazy how open it is this year.
Yeah, the two teams in the lead of the NFC right now are the Minnesota Vikings and the Washington Commanders, which is not a sentence I thought I would be saying after week 5. But I think it's unlikely. The Vikings are not challenging the Miami Dolphins. We're going to lose some games. The Commanders, even though they've been very good,
you never know.
They've had a lightish schedule and some harder games are coming up. So there's a chance here for the Packers. I think they're in a good position to compete for the wild card. But as you say, right, there's only 2 teams in the NFC with fewer than 2 wins. The teams at the top probably won't be there forever. At least the Packers will have a chance to beat them. So it's anybody's game for what's going to happen here.
I was looking at the Green Bay schedule because we've talked about that a few times now. If they were to have blown the game against the Rams, and this felt like a pretty secure Packer win, and most people, Packers fans I know, were basically celebrating the victory, and all of a sudden the Rams sort of did what they did against the 49ers with the late comeback. But if they had lost this one, the Texans are coming up soon. The Lions are coming up soon. You go to Chicago. I know you own the Bears, but still going on the road, division opponent. San Francisco, there are tough games here. The Cardinals, it's good to start mounting up these wins while you can. This is a must win for Green Bay, I thought, given the schedule they have. So to come away with the 24-19 win, here they are right in the thick of things. Keep pace with the Vikings. I think the 3 best teams in the NFC might all be in the NFC North.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the more things change, the more things stay the same. Today, 2 things happened. Nick Castellanos had an incredible win or an incredible game to get a huge win. Matthew Stafford failed to do a comeback against the Green Bay Packers. It feels like we've seen this story over and over again. I'm optimistic, Paul, that this isn't going to be the typical Green Bay Packers season and that the Vikings will actually have a chance to win the division. But
I don't know. These are the games where I'm watching it thinking to myself, okay, like touchdown away here, touchdown away. We get this big lead now. All we have to do is worry about the Lions, and the Packers find a way. Yeah, Jordan Love, I'll tell you what, when he gets going, that's the thing. This Packer offense, when they get going, they are scary. They might be the most explosive team in the NFC. And they showed a graphic at one point of his last 10 throws. One of them was the interception, but the other 9, he is 9 for 10 for 161 yards and 2 touchdowns. You gotta take it. It seems like you beat Green Bay in spurts because they're gonna have their windows where they're just unstoppable for a bit, and when they have their little sluggish moments, you have to take advantage.
No, and this is what's so good, I think, about Jordan Love and why I'm optimistic he's going to have a good season is plenty of players in the NFL, when they start playing bad, they respond by playing worse. They get nervous. They don't want to look bad on the big stage. Guys are in their face. They collapse under pressure. Jordan Love, we've seen it now 2 weeks in a row. When things go bad, when he makes his worst plays, he made some bad plays against the Vikings, right? You have to in order to score 7 points through 3 quarters. He had that horrible failed safety into pick 6 against the Rams. He isn't bothered by it. He just says, look, I'm going to keep playing my game. I trust in myself. I trust in this offense. We're going to get it done. And it wasn't quite enough to get it done against Minnesota, but it was very, very close. It was enough to get it done against the Rams. And that's dangerous when you have a player who can't be rattled, can't be phased, and is just going to play his game hell or high water. So that, I think, if you're looking for a takeaway from what Jordan Love has shown us the past 2 weeks, he's still that guy who's cool under pressure no matter how bad it's going.
Yep, he may still be that guy. The Vikings still hold division lead by 2 games. So we take it while we can. 2.5.
Thank you very much.
We take it while we can, right? And we enjoy these little moments, these little victories. That's what it's about being a Viking fan, is finding the joy in the regular season moments before the inevitable playoff heartbreak. So, all right. 24-19, Packers survive the Rams in week 5. We'll be back with a full reaction later. See you guys then.